Season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is often remembered for its darker tone, emotional complexity, and the unsettling paths taken by some of its central characters. None of this is more apparent than the parallel arc of Willow and Warren, two characters who, on the surface, seem to exist on opposite ends of the show's moral spectrum. Warren is framed as a villain from the outset, manipulative, misogynistic, and ultimately murderous. Willow, by contrast, is a long-established protagonist, and her descent into darkness is portrayed as tragic rather than malicious. But when we scrutinise their actions more closely, the moral line between them begins to reveal some unsettling parallels. Both characters use magic to violate consent. Warren casts a spell on Katrina to coerce her into having sex with him, an act that is rightfully condemned by the narrative. Yet Willow also casts a spell on Tara, altering her memories to avoid conflict, and then proceeds to sleep with her. This is portrayed as wrong and leads to their breakup, but it lacks the same narrative weight or moral clarity. The show invites us to judge Warren harshly while asking us to stay emotionally connected to Willow. And later, both characters kill people motivated by revenge. Both Warren and Willow begin as isolated, intellectually gifted individuals who, once given power, become arrogant and increasingly disconnected from moral restraint. The structural difference lies in how their stories are told. Willow's pain is given space. We follow her journey through grief and loss and emotional collapse. Her humanity is foregrounded. In contrast, Warren is afforded no such narrative depth. He is not presented as a complex individual, but as a symbol, a one-dimensional embodiment of misogyny within nerd subculture. This contrast highlights something bigger than these character arcs. It shows us how media can guide our empathy. The same actions, framed differently, can provoke vastly different responses. We don't fear for Warren when Willow seeks vengeance. We fear for Willow. The concern isn't for the victim of her wrath, but for the cost to her humanity. Now, this episode is titled Villains. At first glance, we might assume that refers to Warren, Jonathan, and Andrew, the obvious antagonists of the arc. But it also could be read as a subtle provocation, suggesting that villainy is shaped as much by perspective as by action. Media doesn't just present characters, it controls how we see them. It dictates who is granted complexity and who is cast as an allegorical figure that embodies a broader social issue. It tells us whose emotional journey we instinctively align with. The way media can frame a narrative can profoundly shape an audience's emotional and moral response to it. And this is a revealing and often unsettling reality, not just limited to fiction, but extending across all forms of media. And for me, that was the central takeaway from this storyline. Intentional or not, it offers a compelling commentary on the power of narrative framing.